Hello and welcome back. It is your loanDepot Ignite ladies. I am Erica Benigni.
I'm Shelley Borman.
I'm Lisa Gustafson.
We are back again with our Wednesday morning coffee talk where the elite go to grow. And this week we want to talk about something that's been coming up quite a bit with our real estate partners and our buyers in this market where we still have a major shortage of inventory. Many of our customers are asking, should I overbid? And how much should I overbid? And the reason that this is happening is there's so many offers going in on a home that the sellers really are taking the highest and best offer. And so it's putting our buyers in a position where the only way that they're able to get into a home is to bid over. And then they're worried whether or not that is a good financial decision long term. Are they starting right out of the gate upside down? Right. So we have an excellent tool that we all subscribe to, MBS Highway, and there's a tool in there about overbidding, and it shows appreciation and recovering the cost of overbidding. And so I think, Shelley, you've got that tool that you're going to plug in a scenario.
I am. So yeah, I mean, I think our buyers are having to bid over ask, as Erica said, in order to get the deal. So this is kind of fun. I'm going to plug in an address. Now, this happens to be an address that is one of our clients is buying, and they're closing next week. And we just kind of thought it would be fun to plug this in on one that was closing and see how that looks. We're going to go through a couple of examples. So let me go ahead and plug in the MLS number here. We'll search on that. Okay, so this is telling us that the seller bought the home in April of 2020 for $340,000. The list price was $410,000. Our buyer actually offered $40,000 over ask price. And so if we click results here, and you can kind of see this estimated value there. So we're going to click results, and they've immediately recouped the amount that they overbid here, which turns out to be a really great scenario.
Yeah.
We can see with this AVM tool. So the value that this tool uses is based on historical values. It's showing that 4.42% is the historical value or appreciation year over year, or 4.63. It's kind of somewhere in there. And then they look at the forecasted appreciation. So historical 4.63, forecasted 4.42. And it's saying that the level of accuracy here is about 89%. That seems pretty good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, Shelley, could we go back? This one actually already closed, just to clarify there. But could you go back and show what it would look like if our borrowers had bid 470?
I can.
I'm just curious to see what that break even is on the specific.
So if they bid 60,000 over ask, let's see what that looks like.
So it's 9 months.
They would break even in 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I want to stress that when we are working with buyers the first time, we're asking the questions, how long are you intending to live in this home for? It's a critical piece to know if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I think what's important here, we see this is saying it's going to take 9 months to recover the cost once they're in the home as the homeowner. We also have seen this number can be negative. It can say it might take a year or two, but home ownership is still building wealth, and the sooner that you can get into the home, better.
Right.
Let me kind of show one more example here, just because I think it's a pretty fun tool, and it's pretty good accuracy. Although I have had some agents say that they think the valuation is a little bit light or a little bit low.
Yes.
Which only means that this would pop up more quickly, right?
Yeah. Which is why it's such a great thing when we work as a team partnership with our agents, because we can put the numbers into this tool, and then the agents can tell us, their assessment of what they think that value is. So.
Right, because the tool The tool is using a 4% appreciation when we know that we've seen in Larimer County appreciation above 15%.
Yes.
So it's a pretty conservative calculation.
So here's a home that was bought in October of 2016. The seller bought it for $325,000. It's currently on the market listed at $519,000. And what happens if we bid above asking $60,000 with this one? This is a home, as you can see, in Johnstown that just came on the market. So it'd be about 25 months to break even on that. And again, the AVM accuracy is pretty good.
Yeah.
And just to help explain what that means to your buyers is that's how long this is predicting that it will take the market to recover that 60,000 that they overbid. And again, that's based on a 4.4% appreciation rate, which
and so to kind of touch on that more, historically, the average home appreciation over the last 25 years in the United States has been about 3.9%.
Nationally.
I mentioned, last year we were 16 to 20%.
Mm-hmm.
We don't expect, or the experts don't expect, that 16 to 20% to continue, but they are expecting high single to low double-digit growth still this upcoming year. Which then that brings to the question, are we in a housing bubble? How can housing values continue to rise? How can appreciation continue? And the reason is just simple supply and demand. We have a shortage of housing. We now have a whole nother generation, a large generation of buyers ready to enter the housing market.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough houses. They're estimating we're short between 1.8 and 3.8 million units of housing. So that's going to continue to keep prices high. And it also affects rent, right? Because if we have this whole pool of people that would buy homes, but they can't because there's not enough inventory of homes, those people are now renters, and those people are able to pay more in rent because they have the wealth they could be purchasing, they can't purchase, so they're willing to put the larger dollars out for rent, which makes the rent go up for everyone. So until that supply and demand comes back into focus, evened out, we're not going to probably see home prices really, break this really high appreciation rate. And just kind of a fun fact we found, year over year housing only actually decreased 6 times in our history, year over year. So
which is incredible. So waiting, you can wait for that 6 year over however many years. It's just not.
And that decrease was small, even.
Right. I think it was 1.7% nationally.
Yeah.
So
and that even takes into account the years, 2007, 8, 9, 10, when the market was decreasing. So
and I think that's another objection that we're getting right now from clients that are fearful of getting into this market is with these appreciation rates, are we moving into a housing bubble? I have a grid here that I like to show clients kind of where we were back in 2006 and 7 and 8. The blue is household growth. So that's basically the number of people that were in the market looking for homes. The orange is the actual homes available. So you can see we were so upside down, and obviously that had an impact in housing prices. Right now in 2021 is the last information that we have, but it's showing the amount of people in the market and the number of houses available. We're years away from having a demand issue. No, supply issue. We have a demand issue.
You're like, we have a demand issue.
Right. Yeah.
And so the other kind of elephant in the room is interest rates, right? Because those play a big part. And they're still historically very low. They're higher than they have been. But the cost of being alive is going up. The cost of housing is going up. So whether you're renting or owning, you're going to see those higher prices. At least when you purchase the home, you've locked in your price. And then you're now a homeowner where you get to participate in the appreciation and the other benefits that come from home ownership. And you're not going to have to find a new place to live every 12 to 24 months and that expense. And they're not going to be able to raise your rent on you because you're going to own the home and your payment's going to be set outside of normal tax and insurance increases. So,
and I think that's a really key thing to keep in mind. And I've seen it somewhere, and I kind of like the expression that, you know, the interest rate to rent is 100%. That money is not working for you.
Right.
So whereas the interest rate to buy and own a home is much, much less than 100%. I mean, we are still historically low. And so you're spot on with what you're saying. It's key, you know, with changes in insurance and property taxes, your monthly payment may change a little bit, but you're not going to have your landlord increase your rent $200 a month, which could happen year over year.
Right.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And I think we've done some previous coffee talks showing, you know, rent versus own, and maybe, you know, we do another one of those coming up so that you can see the wealth building that does happen when you become a homeowner instead of a renter. So
right.
Yep.
Well, and I just think you know, if you've got objections from your customers, get them in touch with us. Let us show them the numbers. Let us run the data for them. It's a tool that we use. We provide it to our real estate partners. We provide it to our pre-qualification customers, and really helps them to feel confident in their offers and having to overbid and still making a very good financial decision.
Definitely.
Education, education, education.
All right. So join us next time for our Wednesday morning coffee talk. Cheers.
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 Great week.